AI is doing some absolutely incredible things, right? But with all that amazing power comes a huge, huge question. How do we stay in the driver's seat, especially when things start to go wrong? So let's just boil this down to the simplest possible question. If an AI starts doing something we don't want it to do, how do we build a reliable off switch? It sounds so straightforward, but believe it or not, it's one of the single biggest challenges in AI today. The common sense answer, the one we all jump to, is to just put a person in charge. Give a human the final say. It's a concept called human in the loop. It's that safety net we all kind of assume is there. But here's the catch. Actually building that simple idea is anything but simple. Okay, so let's dive in. What does having a human supervisor for an AI actually look like in the real world? Let's get into the mechanics of this so-called human safety switch. Well, for starters, big organizations like the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, see this human-in-the-loop idea as absolutely essential, especially in really high-stakes fields like finance or healthcare. You need a human expert to provide that crucial layer of judgment. And this is where things get really tricky, and this quote from Cornelia Davis at Temporal just nails it. See, old-school software usually runs in one single continuous process. But modern AI tasks are different. They're what she calls agentic tasks. Think about an AI working on a mortgage application. That's not a one-and-done thing. It can take days, even weeks, which is way longer than any single computer process can or should stay running. And that fundamental mismatch, this long, drawn-out human task versus a short-lived computer process, that is exactly where our simple little off switch just starts to completely break down. Let me show you why. Okay, so picture this. An AI kicks off a mortgage application. It does its thing, but then it hits a point where it needs a sign-off from a human underwriter. Now, the computer's not going to sit there twiddling its thumbs for 3 days waiting for an email reply. No way. It has to save everything it's done, shut down, and just wait. Then, when the human finally gets back, a totally new, separate process has to start up, find all that saved data, load it perfectly, and pick up exactly where the old one left off. So what you're left with is this incredibly clunky, fragmented, and brittle system. Developers have to manually code for all of it, the saving, the waiting, the restoring, and they even have to clean up all the orphaned tasks that got abandoned because the human never replied. That simple human safety switch suddenly becomes a total engineering nightmare. Okay, so if just one tiny piece of the puzzle, like getting a human to say yes or no, is this complicated, how on earth do we even begin to manage the entire universe of AI risks? Let's zoom out from our broken switch and take a look at the bigger picture. Well, that's where the grown-ups in the room step in, right? The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has developed this incredibly thorough guide. It's called the AI Risk Management Framework, and it gives organizations a real structured way to think about and manage all these complex risks. And the most important thing to get about this is that it's not a one-and-done checklist. It's a continuous cycle. You start with governance, which is about creating a culture that takes risks seriously. Then you map out your context and find the risks. Then you measure them with real metrics. And finally, you manage them by taking action. And then you do it all over again. The whole point of all this, the big prize at the end, is to build what NIST calls trustworthy AI. And that doesn't just mean it's accurate. It means it's also reliable, safe, fair, secure, transparent, all of it. These are the characteristics that really define what good AI looks like in the real world. So, at the end of the day, what the NIST framework really does is give everyone a common playbook. It gives developers, executives, regulators, everyone the same language and a clear process to talk about and handle AI risk before it blows up into a crisis. Now, the NIST framework is a massive step forward for the AI that we have today. But what about the AI of tomorrow? What happens when these systems become even more autonomous, more dynamic, and way more unpredictable? And that's the exact challenge that researchers Zeynep Injin and David Hand are tackling. Their argument is that our current way of governing AI, which is basically putting systems into fixed boxes like low risk or high risk, is starting to fall apart as AI evolves from being a simple tool into a dynamic learning agent. I mean, think about it. It leads you to this really fundamental question. How can you possibly slap a permanent risk label on a system that might completely change how it works tomorrow based on new data it just saw? The high-risk label you assign on Monday could be dangerously out of date by Friday. So they propose a new idea to solve this. It's about moving away from these rigid, fixed boxes and towards something much more fluid, adaptive, and continuous for governing AI. And here's the difference in a nutshell. On the one hand, you have how we do things today. It's static, it's slow, and it assumes the AI is going to behave predictably. But on the other hand, we have this idea for the future, dimensional governance. Instead of fixed tiers, it measures AI along continuous scales, and it adapts in real time as the AI itself evolves. This whole new model really boils down to three key questions, what they call the three A's. First, authority. How much power are we giving this AI? Second, adaptation. How much can it learn and change by itself? And third, accountability. When things go sideways, who's on the hook? The absolute best way to think about this is like a credit score for an AI. It's genius, right? Your credit score isn't a fixed category you're stuck in forever. It's a number that goes up and down based on your behavior. This approach would do the same thing for an AI, constantly updating its risk score across those three dimensions. And this brings us to probably the most important takeaway here. Risk isn't something that's just baked into an AI model itself. A language model isn't inherently high risk. The risk comes from how you use it. Using it to write a poem is low risk. Using it to give medical advice, that's high risk. It's all about context, and dimensional governance is built to capture that. And that really brings our whole journey full circle, doesn't it? We started with this simple, common sense idea of an off switch, saw how it breaks down in the real world, then explored the official government rulebook for managing risk today, and finally, we've looked ahead to a whole new vision for regulating the truly intelligent agents of tomorrow. And this leaves us with the billion-dollar question for the next decade of AI. It's not just about building smarter machines, it's about building smarter systems of oversight. How do you regulate a technology that by its very nature refuses to stand still? That's the puzzle we all have to solve.